Adam was a man worn down by life. Disheartened and frustrated, he had finally made the decision to leave his hometown in search of a better place to live. A place where people were kinder, more understanding, and less consumed by arrogance and cruelty. He had packed his few belongings and set off on a journey, hoping that somewhere out there he would find a town that suited him, a place where he could finally be at peace. One afternoon, after days of wandering, Adam arrived at the outskirts of a small town. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the quiet streets. As he walked along a dirt road, he noticed an old man sitting beneath a large tree. The man had an air of wisdom about him, his white beard swaying gently in the breeze. Beside him lay a calm, watchful dog, its tail wagging slowly as it observed Adam approach. Adam, exhausted and desperate, decided to stop and ask the old man about the town. "Sir," he said, wiping sweat from his forehead, "I've been traveling for a long time looking for a good place to settle. This town looks peaceful. Would you say it's a good place to live?" The old man studied Adam for a moment before asking, "Why did you leave your previous town?" Adam frowned, his frustration rising again. The people there were terrible. They were cruel, arrogant, and full of ego. I couldn't stand them any longer. No one was kind, no one was understanding. I needed to get away from them. The old man sighed and shook his head. "I see," he said. "Then I'm afraid you won't be happy here either. The people in this town are just as cruel, arrogant, and egoistic. Perhaps you should keep searching for a better place." Disheartened, Adam's shoulders slumped. He walked away, feeling as if no place in the world could ever provide him the peace he sought. He sat down at the corner of the road, lost in his thoughts. A little while later, another traveler approached the old man. This man was a post office clerk, carrying a bag full of letters. He seemed cheerful despite his long journey. He stopped near the old man and greeted him with a smile. "Excuse me, sir," he said politely. "I'm looking for a specific address in this town. Could you help me find it?" The old man nodded and gave him the directions he needed. The post office clerk thanked him and then, out of curiosity, asked, "You seem to know a lot about this town. I'm thinking of moving here since my post office is very far from where I currently live. Could you tell me, what are the people like in this town?" The old man smiled knowingly and asked, "Before I answer that, tell me, what are the people like in the town you live in now?" The post office clerk's face lit up. "Oh, they are wonderful," he said enthusiastically. "The people in my town are kind, generous, and full of love. Everyone helps one another, and we live like one big family. If my job wasn't so far, I would never think of leaving. I love my town deeply." The old man chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "Then you will love it here as well," he said. "This town is just like your own. People here are kind, generous, and full of warmth. You'll be glad to settle down in this place." The post office clerk smiled, satisfied with the answer. He thanked the old man and continued on his way, feeling reassured about his decision to move. Adam, who had been sitting nearby, had heard the entire conversation. Confused and intrigued, he stood up and walked back to the old man. "Sir?" he said, furrowing his brow. "I don't understand. When I asked you about the town, you told me that people here were cruel and arrogant. But when the post office clerk asked, you said they were kind and generous. Why did you tell us two completely different things?" The old man smiled, his gaze filled with wisdom. "My dear boy," he said gently, "what we see in others is merely a reflection of what is within us. The way we perceive the world is a mirror of our own thoughts and beliefs. You spoke of your old town as being full of cruel and arrogant people. That is what you saw in them, and that is what you will find wherever you go. The post office clerk, on the other hand, saw kindness and generosity in his town, and so he will see the same wherever he goes." He paused for a moment before continuing. "The truth is, the world doesn't change to fit us. We bring our own perspectives into the world. If you carry bitterness in your heart, you will always find cruelty wherever you go. But if you carry love and gratitude, You will always find kindness and warmth. The choice is yours, Adam. If you want a better life, perhaps you must first change what's inside you before seeking it elsewhere. Adam stood there in silence, his heart pounding as the realization sank in. The old man's words hit him deeply. He had spent his life blaming others, seeing only their faults, but perhaps it was his own negativity that had shaped his experiences. Perhaps if he changed his perspective, he would start seeing kindness where he had only seen cruelty before. For the first time in a long while, Adam felt hope. He nodded at the old man, silently thanking him for the wisdom he had shared. Instead of continuing his search for another town, Adam decided to return home. Not to the place he had left, but to a new life, with a new mindset. And as he walked back the way he had come, the world around him already seemed a little brighter.